How did this guy on Reddit made their first fortune? G'day VGs, you might be thinking, hey what the frick? How did this guy on Reddit create his first fortune? Aren't Redditors supposed to be glued into their desk while munching and drinking on some Doritos and Mountain Dew? What the heck? What kind of mindset do you have? If you thought of that, shame on you. If you didn't, good for you. Although you might have just thought of that because of the reason games taught me. Anyways, here we go. God, how awful is that transition? Here is the story of a Reddit user named OZ Red Dog, and here is their story. I'm 31 and own 7 different companies with various investors. All 7 were built in the last 4 years and I was the driving force. I don't keep tabs on how rich I am. Building something is more important. But I don't think about how much I spend personally, ever. That does not mean I buy heaps of consumer track and try to look rich. It just means I buy what makes me happy. I have a wife and a child, and they spend whatever they want on what makes them happy. I know lots of extremely rich people who are worth between 10 million to over 3 billion, and not one of them tries to look rich. You are much more likely to get rich if you are passionate about anything other than being rich. So, find your passion. That is how I work mine out. When I was 15, I realized that after a while, most people don't like what they do as a job after 20 years of doing it. I realized that if I had the choice of either going to work or looking after a sick family member, I would choose the family member. I also realized that if I was going to sell the best part of my life, I would sell it for the most money I could get. If you were paid $50,000 per annum for 40 years of work, between the ages of 20 and 60, you would have sold the best hours and years of your life for the paltry sum of $2 million. Excluding wage inflation, of course, I did the hardest maths and economics I could find and became a business analyst for large firms looking to save 0.1% off their costs or increase their profits by the same amount per year. This works out to be a lot of money and taught me why some businesses are very successful and others which look the same are not so successful. You need to learn how money works. My passion is building things. Business is my art. Just like some artists paint, I express myself through business. My businesses are built to provide a quality benefit to both our clients, staff, and stakeholders. We never rip people off by doing the wrong thing. This is my passion. The basics. The most important part about being financially free is understanding how money works. Treat money the way it treats you. When did money last tell you it loved you? Money is a sociopath, so treat it the same. This is not the same as treating your employees, clients, stakeholders, or the people around you like a sociopath. When making decisions about money, make them without any emotion. Realize what the risk is. Risk is just ignorance about something. It would be truly risky for me to operate on something because I'm just not a surgeon. If I educate myself to be a surgeon, then the risk that I would kill someone would be lower. Educate yourself about things and there will be little to less risk that I lost my money. Return on investment is a measure of how much risk is an investment. The more you educate yourself about the investment, the lower the risk. You still get the same ROI, but the risk is lower, so you are getting a return on your knowledge. Debt is not a bad thing. Debt is often a good thing. If you can borrow money at 5% and make 10% on it, then you have made essentially free money. Make sure you educate yourself about the risk. You need to realize that in business, 8 out of 10 businesses fail at some point. If you want to have a successful business, you must start at least 10 businesses. Do not start one business, fail, and then say, well, business is crap. Realize your odds of success are very low, especially when starting out. My first business failed and I have had 2 more fail since then. This is the cost of doing business. I've started 10 businesses so far and 7 of them have been successful. I attribute the success of beating the odds so far to educating myself and finding my passion. When investing in a business, say shares or etc., you are investing the management and skills of the people in the team, not the product. It's about 80% team and 20% the product. For an example, look at the hula hoop. It was just a piece of hose, but the management created a new sensation. Saying this, sometimes you can invest in the product and management 50-50. See how to get super rich below. Remember that nothing worth having comes easy. Working hard on something you're not passionate about is hard. When you have found your passion, it will make the 100-hour week seem like 50-hour weeks. Write business plans. Hundreds of them is a start. Your first ones will be hundreds of pages long, but as you write more of them, you will get better at it. I can now write a business plan on a whiteboard in 10 minutes for an extremely complex business or investment. Realize that being financially free requires re-education. You have been taught to work for someone else from when you were a child to most likely today. You were probably never taught by the school system on how to treat money. If you want to be financially free, you must invest in education for yourself. I'm not talking about going to school. How is someone who is a wage earner, the teacher, going to teach you about how to invest to be financially free? You must learn from investors and business people. When I say invest in educating yourself, I mean borrow or buy a couple of books to give you a strong starting point. Read from 1 to 4. Number 1, Richest Man in Babylon. Number 2, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Read the other 3 of Robert's books if you want to know more. Number 3, The E-Myth. Number 4, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. These books might cost you $100 to buy and will help you solidify your knowledge. Some will seem elementary, but never knock back knowledge, even if you only get 5% from a book. If you want to get really rich, then you need to move from the basics I discussed above to a whole different ballgame. Getting super rich is not that hard. It just takes a whole lot more hard work, lots of practice, money, and knowing where to invest. If you look at the people who are super rich, they got there by investing something people want. Bill Gates. Getting into the resources sector, any mining magnate. Being in a business where people give you your main input for free, paper, cardboard, or waste management. Vese packaging, real estate, any large land developer. The most important thing to realize about these investments is that they are out of reach of most people. When you get more competition in an industry, the ROI drops. You will notice above that none of the above investments have much competition. This is why the people who own these are super rich. The businesses that are successful are businesses who supply things that people have to buy, but the barriers to entry are so high that competition is so low. As an example, when was the last time, just before you turned on your light switch, you called the mine that supplies the coal to the power plant that you buy your power from? So ask them if you could get a better deal on the coal you're about to burn. No one ever does that, and this is why businesses are successful. Wait, so add multiple layers of obscurity? Is that the point? A good example of something which is never going to make you super rich is small-scale real estate development. Buying houses and renting them produces almost no return on investment in the long run. This is because there are so many people out there willing to get paid almost nothing for their investment in the house of the apartment that it's very hard to make money. I know some people will disagree, and some people have already posted about how much they have made for doing this. But I am not taking ROIs near the risk-free rate. I'm talking about real investment returns of 15% and above per annum, and these returns are not on paper, capital growth. So I should not go into real estate? Should I go to riskier investments? What are your thoughts on this? When you want to move to getting super rich, you often don't need all of the money to make it happen. You need a proven track record in business and investment, and a very good investment opportunity that falls within the 4 above investment areas. People with money are always looking to make it work for them, so they will invest in you and the opportunity. What do you think of this? Is this the general way to get rich? Personally, it might be. There's just no one way to getting rich. What about you? How did you get rich, or better yet, how would you plan to get rich one day? I would really love to see some comments on how you got that huge sum of money. If you'd like to, I'll be the one to first share my plans in the future of how I plan to get rich in the comment section down below. Just remind me though. Thanks for watching, VGs, and I will see you next time here on Videogamy.